Catney. He's a senior lecturer in politics at Keele University. Welcome to the News Out from London. Just tell us, how much pressure do you think the British Prime Minister and also the King will be to discuss UK slavery reparations at this summit?
Considerable. The international sphere is now growing more increasingly aware about these arguments for reparations and increasingly sympathetic to it. At home, there's by no means a huge groundswell of public opinion in the UK on this issue, but there is certainly a movement towards understanding British history and the obligations we have to other countries from our actions. Now, I don't think we'll get anywhere close to $21 trillion of reparations, but certainly Starmer and the King are coming under pressure now as more actors, particularly the people from the Caribbean in the CARICOM bloc, trying to push for ever greater reparations. But this will be an argument that is shared beyond the Caribbean as well. So there is certainly a positioning here where some people believe this is a historical reckoning that the UK has to engage with to recognise what have been historically big issues. And as you mentioned in your report, the monarchy, the Church of England, various other large institutions of the state and some universities have benefited from the slave trade directly or indirectly, and they're having to now account for this as more scholarships undertaken to demonstrate where these obligations lie.
So Keir Starmer says, just to quote him, it's not on the agenda. He'd rather look forward and not engage in long, endless discussions about reparations on the past. This is clearly what not many people and those countries advocating for the discussion, for the conversation, would like to hear. So what options does Prime Minister Starmer have if it's not opening a conversation on this?
Well, they might actually open a conversation on this. That might be one thing they do. And certainly the language coming out of the Commonwealth heads of government is about trying to build a dialogue and trying to talk about these things. Now, in the longer term, there will be pressure there for money to be traded hands, but the government will not want to do it, not least because the UK government's finances are incredibly tight at the moment. They'll look for other ways to do this. One might be an apology, actually giving an apology. King Charles did something that looked like an apology in 2022, and I think he was Prince of Wales at the time. They could do things like organising better trading relations to make them a more preferred trading partner. That would help with development options. Again, the UK has not been particularly great at pursuing development opportunities for the Caribbean. Debt cancellation might be another thing that could be done. Or you could even try a cultural exchange program like returning objects from the British Museum to other countries, or universities building better cultural links with, like you mentioned in your report, the University of West Indies, which has connections with the Bristol University. So there are ways in which you might do this beyond money. And there are also longer term challenges related to climate change and the vulnerability of that region. So whilst, and this will be what Starmer wants to position this, it won't be looking back and making an apology or paying money in particular, because I think the Labour government wouldn't want to be doing that. But what they might well say in the future is we want to do things to help pay for climate change and the challenges to come.
And with that, appease the activists, the people that really are lobbying for UK slavery reparations at this summit. And if they don't get that sorry and that conversation to be opened, what could happen?
I'm not sure a lot will happen. The UK is increasingly needing to trade on the global stage after Brexit, and it's not just the Caribbean countries. There are many other former states that were controlled by the UK in the Commonwealth with whom we want to do trade with in the future, and we need to build better relations with them. We have to also remember David Lammy, who was the Foreign Secretary himself in 2018, said that something like reparations should be paid. So there is under the surface, there are movements inside the Labour government, I think, that would look favourably upon things short of an apology, or possibly, and certainly shorter than paying significant sums of money. But whether this will be enough in the longer term to keep members of the Commonwealth and the Caribbean bloc happy, that is something which we're going to see. At the moment, they talk about more research. Research is a great way of kicking the can down the road, and I think that's what the UK is going to play for here, in saying we'll establish more longer-term research to look into this stuff, and then hope it's 10 years' times problem rather than trying to reckon with it now.
Philip, thank you so much. Philip Catney speaking to us there from Keele University in the UK. Appreciate it. Thank you.